So before we start, I want to make two things clear. First, this is how I perceived Lights Out mode in Dead by Daylight in the past few days. I base this video on comments from viewers, Reddit discussions, other streamers' experiences I received by watching the streams, and also last but not least my own experiences in Light Out. There's a chance that my perception is completely misguided, and I'm pretty sure you will let me know in the comments if that's the case. Second, I know I won't reach the people that are actually responsible for that with my video, because my community is mostly on the wholesome side of things. Just keep it like that in the comments as well, please, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So right now there's a fun mode, or supposedly fun mode, in Dead by Daylight called Lights Out, and honestly I was really looking forward to it. You know, everything is dark and scary, and killers won't have a terror radius and survivors won't have scratch marks. So basically every possible chance to explore some stealth gameplay on both sides is there. You can go stealthy as a killer and just creep the shell out of survivors, or you can sneak around as a survivor and finish your chance without ever being seen by the killer. However, the community had different plans on both ends, both survivors and killers. Mostly killers did abuse the mode for sure, yeah, to make it sort of a second job in the game to tunnel, camp and abuse the shit out of this game mode. While survivors are kinda limited and need to rely on chests to be provided with strong items. Killers meanwhile have their whole abilities, including all the intel that is related to it. Now you can say, but Obsoidus, it's the killer's role to kill all the survivors in Dead by Daylight. And yes, you're technically right. But do you really need to go all out in a mode that's meant to be fun for everybody? Do you really need to hook the first survivor that you chased 3 times in a row to build pressure on a 4 survivor squad that has no gen rushing potential? Because they literally have no perks and items, and the chests mostly gave me and others I watched and played with green maps, yellow flashlights, and maybe here and there a purple toolbox, yeah sure. But all the while, you as a killer keep your abilities, including potential intel like Doctor's fake doc auras, or the killer instinct, for example from Legion or Nemesis or Wesker. And Bubba and Billy still can down people instantly with their chainsaws. But survivors have the anti-camp mechanic now. Again, yeah, technically you're right, however you don't have any progress bar in Lights Out, and to be honest, in the first few games we didn't even know if all the new mechanics that were introduced on the last patch are actually working in Lights Out. Sadly, we figured out kinda fast that it's still working. Don't get me wrong, there are also survivors that took that mode way too serious. On my second day, I had a Vittorio in my games that found a flashlight and tried to taunt and loop me, and as he failed, he simply disconnected, because why not? On a different note, I don't understand rage quits and disconnects in DBD anyways, in general. The game might suck sometimes, I agree on that. But if you disconnect, you burned your offerings, you burned your add-ons and your items obviously as well, for literally nothing. If you don't disconnect, you at least get some blood points and get basically the value of that stuff back. Because even if you are the first one to be tunneled out, you should get around 5000 blood points. Yes, not always, if you're really unlucky and you get tunneled out without any chance to even loop or avoid the killer, but especially if you disconnect on your way to your last hook, you gain nothing out of it, and this happens so many times. All you get for that is to lose your stuff and to not get blood points, and the killer gets no penalty. Every hook is worth 700 blood points, 500 for the hook itself, and additional 200 for the first hook for being the first hook, 200 for the second hook for entity summoned, and 200 for the last hook for a sacrifice. And if you disconnect, the killer still gets all these blood points for hooking the bots. Of course, if the survivor gets into another hook stage without being unhooked, the killer loses 500 blood points for the unhooking and hooking again. But still he gets the 200 blood points. There is no penalty for the killer if you disconnect except you losing blood points. And that's not really a penalty for the killer. Anyways, coming back to Lights Out. Yes, as mentioned, there are people on both sides taking this way too serious. This mode was supposed to be fun, and still people play it like a tournament. And now the community is complaining to behavior because the mode is not fun and no perks and no add-ons and no items is really bad and it's unbalanced and whatever people are saying on Reddit, it's insane. But meanwhile, people don't realize the community destroyed it for themselves. People that tunnel and face camp and proxy camp and going for the same person 3 times in a row, one after another. I even had people thank me in endgame chat or even join my Twitch chat for a little chat because I simply didn't face camp them or let them go because I simply didn't care, because I had some fun in this game mode, scaring some survivors and outplay them on trapper traps or whatever. But this brings me to the conclusion of all this event, and that is we, ladies and gentlemen, can't have nice things in Dead by Daylight. We asked Behaviour for so long to give us different game modes, mods or other things that are long available on DBD Mobile. But at the same time, we destroyed ourselves the very first moment we were given one of these things. And then we don't even take responsibility for that, but we blame Behaviour for not balancing a fun game mode. Imagine Riot Games would have to balance Ultra Rapid Fire or any other of their fun game modes. It's just not meant for serious gameplay. And yes, there were also players that enjoyed that game mode and they had fun and they were lucky enough to not get a sweaty killer. Greetings to all the survivors that faced me during this time. But from what I get, these are the minority. Or if they are not a minority, it's because if you like something and you think it's wholesome and good, you don't go to the forums to write, hey, thanks for this mode, we had a lot of fun. But you just take it and be happy and enjoy the game and you're good. Meanwhile, everybody who has all these negative effects are going to the forums and complain about it. We destroyed this ourselves, and I wouldn't be surprised if Behaviour takes a long time to release a different game mode, because now they also need to care about balancing a fun game mode. So yeah, that's my takeaway from this, my impression from Lights Out. Thanks for watching my little TED Talk here. I'm looking forward to read your opinions in the comments. Please keep it civil. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or dislike it if you didn't. And keep in mind, any interaction helps me grow. So yeah, until next time, stay positive.